People use the N-word so much these days that it's lost its impact. The National Institute of Health estimates that about 6.2% of the population suffers from narcissistic personality disorder. Data on this is all over the place, going as low as half of 1% according to some institutions, so nobody really has a definitive answer as to how common narcissism is, but regardless of whether you're looking at the low end or the high end of estimates, true narcissistic personality disorder is fairly rare. Despite this, people are quick to drop an N-bomb on anyone who causes them any sort of pain via narcissistic tendencies. And sometimes this is warranted, but this can be dangerous as literally every single person on the planet has narcissistic tendencies. And obviously there's levels to it. There's engaging in narcissistic behavior in fleeting moments of weakness, and there's communicating, thinking, and behaving in a way that is fundamentally narcissistic over a long period of time, accompanied by an inherent inability to empathize. People accuse their exes of being narcissists all the time, often failing to acknowledge the fact that romantic love is a profoundly emotional experience in which conflict, a learned skill, is inevitable, and in which a person's most deeply rooted traumas are bound to resurface to an extent dependent on situational context and on that individual's level of healing, awareness, and emotional intelligence and maturity. And in everyday life, narcissistic traits manifest as self-assurance, a desire for admirations, or the occasional prioritization of one's needs. These moments, which are often context-specific and transient, are a part of a healthy self-image and assertiveness. They serve functional purposes such as fostering self-motivation or navigating competitive situations. And the spectrum is even more nuanced than that. People have moments of stress and reactivity, and people have unhealed traumas. Some people have only bad experiences and bad examples of behavior to reference in relation to certain circumstances or just in general, and developing the awareness and life skill it takes to take over control of one's narcissistic tendencies happens in different ways at different times for different people. So just because someone hurts you and or manipulates you doesn't mean they aren't capable of self-reflection or empathy or honesty, or that they don't love you. But sometimes it does. It's complicated. Most things are complicated. But narcissism, which is a trait inherent in human nature, varies significantly in intensity and manifestation across individuals. True NPD is defined by the Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders as characterized by pervasive patterns of grandiosity, a constant need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. But even then, you also see very similar patterns of behavior in people who have borderline personality disorder, which is still a highly volatile and destructive cluster B personality disorder that can sometimes be even more unpredictable than narcissism, and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And if you give me a follow, you'll soon be shown a video where I explain the differences between the three. And by no means am I saying that you're obligated to tolerate these behaviors for any reason. But what I am saying is that people with NPD can be extremely dangerous, and we don't want to make ourselves apathetic towards it as a society by overusing the word. I'm also saying that it's a very serious accusation capable of ruining a reputation. In fact, one thing narcissists often do in an attempt to control the narrative is accuse their victims of being narcissists in an effort to sabotage their reputation. And no, you don't want to tolerate a lot of it, but while true narcissism is next to impossible to treat, conditions that result in similar behavior are very treatable. But the harsh reality to that is that the person engaging in the behavior often has to learn a lot of things the hard way before they realize that they need to take that step. And that can often result in a lot of people getting hurt in the process. And that's why